Hello again, everybody. The attack is here. Second attack is here with the edition of the attack line for Thursday, September 29th, 2011. Let's get started with a little Billboard chart update. Mentioned yesterday, Roof 5 made the #1 single with moves like GaGa. Tony Bennett shocked everyone by getting a #1 album. And then mentioned country #1 single for the second week in a row was by the Atkins. Now when it comes to next week, Tony's got some competition. Some people predicting that Jay-Z's protege, J. Cole, who has spent the summer opening for Rihanna, is prepared to release Cold World this week and expected to debut at #1. Also expecting a big debut next week besides J. Cole is Demi Lovato. Her I'm Unbroken lands on the charts next week as well. So I'm expecting her to be charting, especially with appearances on Dance from the Stars, among other shows. When it goes to Billboard Hot 100, expect a big impact from Rihanna's new single, and we'll see how Katy Perry fails. Her new single, the one that got away, was service to radio this week. And also Nickelback's new song. Speaking of new singles, that leads me to some Lady Gaga news. First, Lady Gaga is announcing the 5th single from her album entitled Marry the Night. At last, I've been wanting her to release Marry the Night as a single for Born This Way for so long, but she went on to release Judas, Enter Glory, and recent You and I, since releasing the title track as the first single. You and I is still on the charts, so Gaga may have to delay the release of Marry the Night for just a little bit. I say when it comes to Gaga, I think she'll probably release Marry the Night probably like late November. By that time, You and I will probably wear off by then. But we'll see how You and I does. And also Lady Gaga is suing this company, like a lipstick company, I forgot the company, a cosmetic company, who is using her name without a permission as a trademark for like a line of cosmetics they're putting out, like Lady Gaga VIP or something. So Gaga's suing them for that. And I'm hearing she's making like a film for a fashion show in Paris or something. So that's the little Gaga news for you. Little Gaga update, little monsters. Alright. Before I get on to TV and wrestling, one more bit of music news. T.I. is out of jail, actually out of the halfway house. He was, of course, sentenced to jail again following a violating probation with his bust in Vegas. He was sentenced to 11 months. He got released from jail in August, sent to the halfway house, then sent back to jail after a misunderstanding with taping, but then got sent back to the halfway house, and now he's apparently out of the halfway house and back to living life as a free man. He is rumored to appear at the BET Hip Hop Awards taping this weekend, ironically the site of where the first arrest happened back in 2007. So we'll see if nothing happens this time. But good T.I. stay out of jail this time, buddy. So every time T.I. gets out of jail, either he goes back to jail or someone else does. Ain't that right, Gucci Mane? Anyway. On to TV. Good scene. Don't do that yesterday. But also yesterday specifically was my favorite. My Family! Yes, My Family was on last night. Not as good as last week's 1-hour season premiere, but still very good episode involving Super Dunphy, with Julie trying to encourage Alex and Haley to behave in the same math class, but didn't turn out the way. Plus Claire had a little feud with a school cop, and Phil was trying to work on a tightrope. Some people comparing the new bonding between Phil and Luke comparable to Kurt and Bud on Glee, a.k.a. Chris Colfer and Mike O'Malley. I don't see that. And we had a little story of Jay and Gloria with the dog, and Kevin Mitch on a diet. Not as good as, like I said, not as good as last week's 1-hour premiere, but still, good Modern Family. Cannot wait till next week's show. Still LOL show. Still funny. You haven't seen an episode of Modern Family? Watch it. Next Wednesday at 9 on ABC. Now let's get down to TNA Impact Wrestling, which will be from Knoxville, Tennessee. Heading towards the road to Bound for Glory. Boy, is it a long one. Here's your top 5 questions that must be answered for tonight. Christian. Let's see. Alright. Christian. Number 5. Who will be the last to qualify in the Queen's qualifier to qualify for the knockout title match at Bound for Glory? Now we know Velvet Sky and Mickie James will be 2 out of the 3 challengers for Winter's knockouts title Bound for Glory in the Fatal 4-Way. Who will be the 3rd and final challenger? We'll find out tonight as Tara takes on Madison Rayne, 2 former rivals. Face off, I say Madison, because we don't have another heel. You know, we have 2 good girls, that mean Mickie and Velvet, and 1 baddie, that's Winter. So we're probably going to get a Madison Rayne victory. She'll probably cheat or something. But let's see what happens there. Question number 5. Speaking of number 1 contender slot, who will be the number 1 contender for the X Division Championship? There will be an X Division ladder match tonight as Jesse Sorensen takes on Kid Cash, takes on Alex Shelley, Zema Ian, and former X Division champion Brian Kendrick. Now, Jesse Sorensen, I told you this last week, that he needed to get a couple more victories before getting another shot at Austin Aries after that good effort last week. So I don't think Sorensen's going to win. A lot of people want Alex Shelley to be the number 1 contender. I agree. My 2 picks for the winner is Alex Shelley and Zema Ian. I love Zema Ian, the new guy. He's as good as Sorensen, but a little bit better on a high flyer. But when it comes to it, I think Alex will get the victory because he's a veteran. They probably want to build Zema and Jesse a little bit more before giving them a proper title shot. Alex doesn't need much more build because he's a veteran and he's a good guy. Motor City in the house. Get well soon, Chris Sabin. That's all I gotta say about Gold Shelley tonight. Christian number 3. What will happen when Bobby Roode takes on another member of Fortune tonight? Well, after this match with Chris Daniels got canceled after he and AJ had a little fight, hopefully they solved their problem, he will face off against, speaking of AJ, he'll be taking on AJ tonight. In the continuation of the Mind Games, Kurt Angle's playing on his Bound for Glory opponents. Now we'll see how AJ does against Robert Roode and how's his mindset following the aforementioned fight with Christopher Daniels last week that broke all out the Impact Zone, in and out of it. Backstage, in the ring. We'll see how they coexist tonight if they get in the building, but we'll see what's AJ's focus. Will he focus on Roode or will he have Daniels in the back of his mind? But we'll see what happens tonight, but go Roode. I like AJ, but like I said, they need to build Roode a lot more to get him against Mr. Angle. So we'll see what happens. And assumingly the next week will be the last Fortune member, his Beer Money Tag Team partner, James Storm. Question number 2, speaking about Bound for Glory, what matches will be added? Besides finding out who will be the number 1 contender for the X Division Championship and who will be the last number 1 contender in the Fatal 4-Way for the Knockouts title, there's not much left to add about for Glory, but we'll see if any matches do get added, which adds to number 1. What will Hogan announce tonight? Now, Hulk Hogan is scheduled to face off against Sting about for Glory. Now, he's supposed to be this major announcer tonight. I'm hearing it's a retirement party. He's trying to find the easy way out of this match against Sting, so he'll probably make a big retirement party, and then probably pull Michael Jordan next week. Oh, I'm back! He'll probably face off against Sting about for Glory, but we'll see what the announcement will be tonight and what will go down on the road about for Glory as it continues tonight at 9 Central on Spike TV. Other questions, side questions. Crimson returns to the Impact Zone tonight in Knoxville. He was via satellite last week. See what happens tonight. I think he's supposed to face off against Joe at Bound for Glory, I'm guessing. And the continuation of the comeback trail for Mr. Jeff Hardy. One who's going to talk to this week and who's going to talk down to him or talk positive about him tonight on Impact at 9, 8 Central on Spike TV. And that is my tagline for today. I'll see y'all later on tonight for my TNA Impact review. And I'd like to say this out. I will not be making an attack line tomorrow because I'll be out all day gigging. I have a gig in the morning at Indian Hills Elementary School for the little fun one. Done it for 3 years now. That's the 3rd year doing it. That's like 9:15 to 2. Then I'll be doing Power Minnow right after that at 3:15. And then on to the tailgate for football, weather permitting, of course. But I'll be out all day probably. Gigging. With that in mind, just been attacked Better news from Zach. Thank you very much. See you later, my boy. TNA Review. Bye-bye. See ya. Yeah.